did that when he was a puppy. He guarded his food for like 2 seconds, and I saw that, and for months, I put my hand in his food the entire time he'd eat. I was like, none of that, dude. You'll eat out of my hand. Like, we're not going to do that. I caught it early, thankfully. I don't know what I was doing anymore. Oh, I can put out my possum because I have bones. Cute. A great-grandmother who was badass? Hey, that's something. I think all the women in my family, even though they're assholes, like, all my grandmas went through shit. Like, horrible shit. Like, they were cranky old cunts at the point that I knew them. But, like, my Nana's mom was a mail-order bride from Ireland. Like, her husband impregnated her, like, 5 times and then abandoned her, and she had to work as a maid and put all of her kids in an orphanage their entire life. Like, I'd be a cunt, too. I get it. I feel it. Claire, put in the Discord, dude. We have a whole Discord for animals. And it doesn't go away. Fudge a dick. Well, no, okay. Just kidding. Win! Mark, what is that for? What happened? My great-grandmother sing-songed everything to me. She was a soprano opera singer who lived through the Great Depression with sass and turned down Al Capone when he asked her on a date because she knew she was too good for him. That's some badassery right there. You dealt me more damage than you needed to win. However, in my games, such feats are rewarded. To be precise, a tooth to keep for each extra damage dealt. The trapper may be interested in your spoils. And that's his little bowl of teeth. That's pretty badass. All the women in my family sing. It's pretty crazy. My Nana could sing really well. Oh? I forgot your figurine. Get up and fetch it for me? Bitch, don't tell me what to do. Alright, Daddy, I do it. Why are his eyes like that? It's beside the safe. Yuck! Did you see the hand on the safe? I don't want to play anymore. Yuck. I don't like it. Did you see the hand on the safe? I did not see that the first time I played. I'm feeling like there's a lot of things I didn't see. What the fuck was the hand? Yep. I don't like it. I don't like that darkness. Is that me? The safe is shaking. Why? I can't pick a different one? Really? Cool. Okay. I don't like it. The book! Oh my god, I wonder what that could be. That sure looks like a safe dial and 3 numbers for a fucking safe with a creepy hand on it! Or we could cheers first. I'll just put it off forever. I had to work years to find you. I mean, I still work. I mean, there's so few people that you can do that with. And I don't blame people for it. I think it's just a culture we've been raised in, you know? I don't know if it's like part of the... I don't know where it came from, to be honest. Is it like part of the anti-bullying thing? Is it considered bullying just to have a conversation now that's... like, to have a differing opinion is considered bullying? Is that what it is now? I don't know. I really don't know. But... I don't know. I don't know what happened. You think it is? Well, Mickey's a teacher. That's why I ask. Like, Mickey is balls deep. Well, that's disgusting to say. Mickey's up to his elbows in sadness and hormones of children. So, and the flawless culture, I'm sure. Yeah, you can't be wrong. Like, oh my god, if I'm wrong, then everything in my life is wrong. And it's like, no, now you know the right answer. So now you're not wrong anymore. You were only wrong until this person corrected you. Now you're not wrong. You get it? Like, go forth and grow, bitch. Life's all about being, that's what I'm saying. Like, if you're never wrong, you will never, ever learn anything ever. You'd be a stagnant fetus. Cheers. Dead Kel, exactly. People, like, identify with their opinions. I do not. I have very strong opinions that I'll stand by, like, no matter what, but I don't, like, define myself by them. Balls deep in conversation, that's better. Yeah, I almost said kids because he's a teacher, and I stopped myself. You're welcome. Anyways, 273. It's still shaking, and all I can think of is the hand that... Oh. Oh, hello. Cute. That Iron Crypt is the Stoat around? That stunted wolf? This madness must end. Oh, put that away. Oh.
Put that away. Bitch, come here. Let me look at it. Hello? I can't touch the key yet.
Shit. Interesting. I'm not going to click anything yet. I don't want to go, like, too far. I want to do it in the order it's supposed to be done. Let us continue.
Let us continue.
Is that the key to my heart? Oh my god, maybe. It's in a creepy safe held by a creepy hand with a card of a stink bug inside. Nothing makes sense. Master Meatball, usually what I do, I use that same kind of method. I gauge how the conversation is going to go by asking the other person first. And depending on how they answer, I can usually get the sense whether or not they're open to conversation about it, or if they're like, nah. You know what I mean? It's kind of like fishing a little bit. I get that. Just having debates and conversations used as an excuse to talk about how much I shouldn't have a right to exist in public and piss and be treated with dignity, so I kind of get burned out on it. I get that. And those are the kind of things I don't argue. Like, to me, things like human rights are not arguable. That is not something you can argue. Humans are humans, as we all agree here, I hope. Transgender humans are humans, non-binary folk, all of the above. We're all humans, human rights, period, end of story. Trans rights are extremely important right now. Not an arguable topic. Like, there is no other side for me. You know what I mean? Like, I don't have a devil's advocate for that argument because I believe so strongly in it. It's more like theoretical shit. You know, stuff that's not a current horrible thing happening. Like your rights being torn from your beautiful fingers because of what you do in the bedroom, which still baffles me. Like, the gayest thing you can do is worry about what the rest of us are doing in our bedrooms. Get the fuck out. Having spent my whole life doing politics, it's a hard lesson I've learned. Unfortunately, Americans have become the most absurdly sensitive to any criticism. I wonder why. I grew up very different than most Americans, so I understand that, like, my point of view doesn't really work in the generalness of it, the grandiose picture, because I was, you know, raised in small town America. Leave my spank concessions out of your head. I agree, though, honestly. Like, I 100% agree. Like, these people that are going after Roe versus Wade and gay marriage and gay rights and trans rights and all of these things that are basic human rights to me. Like, why? What are you doing? Like, you have a personal vendetta at that point, which leads me to believe you're closeted or something. The discussion part and nerding out over bio are down the same lane. Even amongst the nerds, gatekeeping and flawless culture is prominent. Oh, it's most prominent in nerds, I think. Katie's just genuinely curious about bio stuff, and if I explain something wrong or too simple, she asks instead of accusing me or of lying or being an idiot. That's the word. And that, I think people that do that, that's what, that when I say willful ignorance, it's that. Like, I like to be corrected if I'm wrong on something, because why do I want to stay wrong? My brain hurts trying to conceptualize that one. To the notion of American mythology, the American patriotism is so bizarre to me. It's very bizarre. Or like even just my parents' generation. They're not that old. My mom's in her 60s. Both my parents are in their 60s. And they like my mom has traveled with me. Like, she's traveled all over. All the different countries I've been to, she's been to with me. She's still like, no one's free like America, Katie, though. Like, you move to another country and you'll see nobody's free like us. And I'm like, where does that concept come from, though? Sure. Little void love. Free how, though? Like, yeah. Well, that's the thing. We grew up on the border of Canada. Like, I grew up with my parents, like, going to Canada all the time for various things. So it's strange to me. Maybe staying wrong is a pride thing. Like, you're so into the wrong opinion, you refuse to change it because you have to admit you were wrong. I think that's a huge part of it. That's a huge issue with, I know, Americans just being here. Like, admitting you're wrong and being like, I apologize, I will alter my behavior. That is like the America killer, which it keeps us real dumb. Real dumb. Exactly, Pistolero. Exactly. Yes. Yep. You're free to do heroin, get addicted, and then become homeless and stay homeless because America doesn't think you deserve human rights if you're hooked on drugs. Or if you want to have sex with people that aren't the exact opposite of your assigned at birth gender. So many fucked up things we could go through. Like, my brain didn't even know what example to pick out. There's so many. Don't you want to change for the better? Like, literally, that's how you learn. That's literally learning, right? David, Merry Christmas. How are you? Good. Time zone. I wish I had numbers of all the people that believe we heroically run around the world and kill people until they're magically capitalist democracies. I almost don't want to know. Like, that's like numbers I don't think I'm mentally prepared to handle. There's my... So I'm assuming every time I die, I get a new one of these then, right? Oops, sorry, I didn't mean to back away. I'm assuming. Oh, man, for a second there, I read that as I just dropped enough Chinese food to feed a small army. Happy Christmas to me, and I was like, wow, your ability to fluently write such eloquent sarcasm in such a tragic moment is admirable, but also I'm super excited you're getting your Chinese food and didn't dump it. Well, Mickey, exactly. You have kids who are like either regurgitating just their parents' opinions or just straight up don't know. Totally different. Most adults, like, a discussion like that is a dangerous discussion I'm just not willing to have because I'll end up hurting somebody. When people start talking about like transgender rights and things like that, they're arguing against them. My urges are to harm them, and I don't want to get in trouble, you know, like. But kids, on the other hand, like, it is important to have those conversations with kids. I've told you the story of when I went and first met Scott's children. It was at the height of the Black Lives Matter protests, right after that innocent man was suffocated for 7 minutes by a cop. And his son, bless his soul, I think he was 8 at the time, 7 or 8 at the time, looks at me across the dinner table and goes, "Hey, Katie, do you like racism?" And the urge to, like, cry laughing was so strong. I've never acted better in my life. I was able to stay completely calm because this was this kid wanting to approach this subject with a stranger. Like, I want to talk racism. Like, this is all over the world right now, and kids are, you know, they'll absorb every fucking word you say. And so we ended up having an amazing discussion about, like, feeling really bad for people who are racist because they're probably taught by their parents, and we're very anti-racism. And he learned that word, and we had a really good discussion. But, like, the innocent way it's approached, you have to be careful with kids like that. like talking about subjects like that, because they literally, every single word you say, they take in, everyone in the middle, and they repeat them. You know, being a teacher is so important. I think they should be the highest paid people in the world. It's incredible that they're literally the lowest, maybe lowest with a college education, I should say. Oh, I know, Gek. It's pretty wild. I'm sure Zach, if you've watched Zach's channel, he's told the story a couple times, but he paid cash for every single thing he owned in his entire life until he was like 38. And then he wanted to get a cell phone plan on his own, and he couldn't get one because he had 0 credit. He had no bad credit, just 0. He had to get a credit card so he could get a phone plan. Like, you have to literally go into debt in our country to buy things. Yes, he said, "Do you like racism?" And he was gauging me. He wanted to know if I was a racist. I totally get it. Like, if I was a kid in the midst of the Black Lives Matter movement, I'd want to know if these shitheads were racist too. But, you know, like, I had to sit there and be like, oh God, what am I going to say? Because it's me. Capitalism, yeah. You may forget the college education part. What? I don't know. That's America. I mean, to go to college, you have to... I can't remember the statistic. It's over 70% of kids coming out of college are popping out with at least $50,000 in debt. We're starting our youth and their successful lives with more debt than most people had by the time they retired. That our parents, because their houses were less than $50,000. That's what our education cost. Mine was over $100,000. My sister's is almost $200,000. Like, it's insane. Dude, Scott's pretty cool. Like, he's a total dickbag, but he's like a cool dickbag. He reminds me a lot of my sister, Sarah. Oh, his kids are great. They're so unfiltered. It's wondrous. Wondrous. But those kids taught me you have to watch every word you say. Every word you say, because they remember them forever. Like, his daughter is even younger, and I made the offhand comment one time that people are stupid. 6 months later, she came up to me at a fair, like a flea market, and comes and says, "Katie, can I hold your hand?" I'm like, "Yeah, you can hold my hand." We're walking along. She goes, "Katie, are people really stupid?" And I'm like... And so we had a really good discussion about how sometimes I slip up with generalizations, and that's not a very fair thing to do. And no, the vast majority of people aren't stupid. But everything you say. Like, kids just are sponges. Walking sponges with legs. It's wild. In a year, in 2016, 33K. Wow. I know when I graduated college, grant you this was a bit ago, but I had a lot of friends graduating because the college I went to had like a very prestigious teaching college called Woodring. I went to Western Washington University in Washington State, if anybody wants to know. And they have a teaching college that you apply to after you get your bachelor's called Woodring. And apparently it's very like famous, like really good teachers come out of it. I don't know. So I had a lot of friends who were going to teaching college, and the average salary coming out with a full-time job as a teacher out of Woodring was $25,000 a year. With a 6-year education under your belt. That's probably like 80 grand in loans-ish. That's wrong. On so many levels. Oh, I know, Squeaky. That's where all my college, funds went, actually, interesting enough. My mom put all of my college tuition into low-risk stocks at the behest of her advisor or whatever, which isn't a bad person. Like, nobody knew this was going to happen. And then the fucking crash happened. And every cent was gone in a day. Everything. It was a bad time. Who do I want to take? I don't really like the cockroach. I don't ever use it. I'm gonna do it, because I never take it. Why not? I'm a bad influence. I mean, Scott will tell you if you're a bad influence, he won't let you be around his kids. He's that kind of guy. Like, I'm honored Scott still lets me hang out with his kids, to be honest. Which, I mean, good for him. I wouldn't let my kids be around shitholes either. The only shot I had to get a job that would actually pay back my loans was to go to work in DC That was exactly what I was doing at Hopkins. Not even shitting you. To get your tuition paid back, you have to work at what's considered a not-for-profit institution for like 7+ years. Yeah. It's pretty crazy. And I would not sign up for that with Hopkins. I was like, absolutely not. This is true. Scott, I mean, I've heard stories about his family. Like, he knows shitholes. No, you can be truthful. No. He's cool with that. He's pretty honest with his kids. They're pretty, like, he doesn't shelter his kids by any means. But I mean, I don't think anybody should use generalizations like everybody's stupid. Because not everybody's stupid. Some people don't have access to education. Oh, look, a conversation. Shit. They're in deep this time. That's it. They're in cahoots. Possessed cards. I want to borrow $25K for a card, and the bank replies, only if you go to the other bank across the street and loan $10K for the TV. Otherwise, it's a no-go. That's that's pretty much it. It's pretty crazy. Like, when they look at your credit report and see 0 credit and deny you, they're basically saying, well, you haven't gone into debt yet, so sorry. And that's like if you pay cash for a phone. Like, this is not even pulling out a loan for a phone. This is paying cash for a phone. It's just getting a cell phone plan. You have to have credit in our country. It's very bizarre. Birds. Nothing will work against birds. America is a wild place. I've grown up here, so I had no idea how bad it was. You all have enlightened me. Seriously. You teach me more and have, like, exposed me to more of the world than any media I could have ever soaked in, ever, or anything I could have ever gotten in my own country. Like, and you think about that, most of my country is just as dissuaded. We think we're like the freest bitches in the world and we're living heaven, and that you guys are all like dying of COVID and shit. It's pretty wild. There's not many ways to like seek out people, humans. Yeah, that is kind of the way it should be. What's crazy, so get this. Spider on the board. Oh, it's gone now. Arachnophobes run. It never comes onto your cards that I've seen so far, but once in a while a giant spider runs across the other guy's cards. Knives, I mean, what worse thing could you do? It's just so bad. I would have gotten fired. I would have told the kid the truth. I couldn't even, like, eloquently, like, fabricate language at that moment, seriously. Otherwise, I probably would have said the same. I didn't even know what to say. I wanted to be like, oh, gross. Like, that probably was my reaction when he said that. Was probably like, oh, gross, parents. And then walk away. But instead it was, I need to shit, and walk away. Was buying a house, but my bank guy was sick. Other bank person said I could loan 1/3 of original plan. Came in the next day and got a clear for the original plan? What the fuck? Oh, that's sus as hell. What? Ew. No. Ew, no. How is that okay? Seriously, Knives? I've known many people that did that before, that have done that. Or have had that done to them, I guess, by their parents. It's, fucked up doesn't quite cover it, does it? I shouldn't have put that there, but anyways. Oops. Ooh, he didn't kill him, thankfully. Seriously, Succulent? And that's so crazy because I know friends of mine, very close friends of mine, who can't go to school because their parents are so terrified to sign any paperwork.